This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana, the rain and snow showers are moving out only to see the coldest air of the season settle in. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast.
A new program is changing the way officials work together when a child goes missing. New this morning how the program could save time and even a child's life.
Teachers across the state want changes to state laws, why they're going red for ed this month, and how it could impact your family.
A new lawsuit targets the city of Muncie and 3 police officers, what they're accused of doing, and how the city is responding.
And we're used to being judged on our credit score for things like cars and houses. We're working for you by uncovering a secret score impacting things like your phone wait times so you don't waste your money.
And it is 6 o'clock here on our Thursday morning, November the 7th. Thanks for joining us.
I almost said good morning, Alaska, because we're in good company. It's 40 degrees here and in Alaska this morning.
And the bad news is, Todd, it is only going to get colder from here. Yeah. So maybe a trip to Alaska is
a little vacation.
Yeah,
as long
in
as
the cards.
As long as you stay along the coast, I don't think you want to head to interior Alaska where it will be a lot colder. But yeah, the chill is going to settle in here across central Indiana this morning. As you walk out the door, just know we've already hit our high temperature for the day today. And so what do you need to grab before you go? Well, you definitely need to have that medium weight jacket, because not only are the temperatures going to continue to fall this morning and into the afternoon hours, it's going to be pretty windy. I don't think it's cold enough for the hat and gloves. Sunglasses, you do not need those this morning. That's more of an afternoon thing as we start to work some sunshine into the forecast. So as you get going with your morning commute, on average, the temperatures are right around 40 degrees. We actually fall a couple degrees here this morning with lots of clouds around. And as far as rain goes, we've had some showers overnight, and there's still the chance of a spot sprinkle and or a flurry from Indianapolis to the north. But the bulk of the rainfall is here in southern locations, where it's falling pretty steady from Seymour over towards Bloomington and in the Shoals area. But if you're north of this yellow line that I just put there, you are not going to see anything more than a sprinkle. All the steady rain will continue to work its way south and to the east. That is the good news. The bad news is this cold front is coming through. So as we expand out for the rest of your morning here into your lunch hour, temperatures are just going to stay in the 30s. It's not until this afternoon that the skies start to brighten. We'll talk about that forecast and beyond coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We do have a traffic alert for drivers over on the west side. Take a look at this. We've been showing you it this morning. The semi there, you see it on your screen. It is off the interstate into the ditch. This is westbound lanes of I-70 here between Lyndhurst Drive and I-465. Crews are working to clear this scene, but they are blocking the right lanes at this hour. Traffic's still getting by in the left lane, and it is still moving, so that is good news. Let's show you this on our map real quick as you're heading out the door. Over here again on the west side, westbound lanes of I-70 west of Lyndhurst Drive. No reports of any injuries at this time, but we'll monitor this and keep you updated.
In a few days, all roads will lead to the State House. Your child could have an unexpected day off from school later this month, and that's because thousands of educators plan to go red for ed at the State House on November the 19th. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live from the State House this morning. And Kelsey, why have they chosen November the 19th?
Well, Raphael, they chose November 19th because that's the day that lawmakers will be back here at the State House for the next legislative session. Now, the point of this rally is not to cause problems, but it's to bring the thoughts back to teachers and end the teacher shortage problem. They're asking lawmakers for the following. They want them to raise the average pay to $60,000 a year, not to punish schools based on testing scores, and they want lawmakers to get rid of the 15-hour externship requirement for license renewal. And so in the last legislative session, a 2.5% base funding raise was for the next 2 years was approved, but ISTA says they will continue to push for more. Now, a lot of teachers are having to take pay days, PTO days to be here on November 19th, but some schools are already canceling school knowing that a lot of teachers won't be there. IPS announced yesterday that they are canceling school on November 19th, but they will have a makeup day in April. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
At 6:04, we remain covering covering education, and tonight, IPS leaders will hold their third town hall meetings. The goal is to help the community learn about the 6 strategic priorities outlining the district's new long-term strategic plan. Tonight's meeting is at Shortridge High School. That meeting starts at 6:30. Translators and free child care will be available. Registration is not required, but recommended. If you can't make tonight's meeting, we have a list of the remaining town halls right now on the RTV6 app.
This morning, a man is dead following a nearly 4-hour standoff with deputies in Henry County. Sheriff's officials say they were called to a home near Spiceland around 7 Wednesday night for a domestic situation. A woman later called 911 and said shots were being fired in the house. When deputies arrived on scene, they say 77-year-old Leslie Odier came out of the home and fired shots toward them. Odier ran back into the house when officers returned fire. Authorities say Odier was later found dead inside the home. This morning, Indiana State Police troopers are investigating the incident.
A Delaware County man has filed an excessive force lawsuit against the city of Muncie and 3 of its officers. We obtained footage of the June 2018 incident, which begins right after officers handcuffed Jesse Vernon on suspicion of drug dealing.
I'm not doing nothing.
In that lawsuit, Vernon says officers Chase Winkle and Chase Hunter beat him and repeatedly tased him. Vernon says as a result of the beating, he suffered serious injuries, including a broken collarbone. Prosecutors initially charged Vernon with resisting law enforcement and drug-related charges. Prosecutors later dropped those charges. Jesse Vernon is now asking a court to be paid for his damages and attorney's fees. A friend of Vernon says the FBI has interviewed her about what happened, as well as a witness and one of Vernon's family members as well. The Muncie police chief confirms the feds are reviewing several cases. It's not clear if this one is one of them. We've reached out to Muncie for a comment on the lawsuit. We are still waiting to hear back from them this morning.
At 6:06, AT&T service has been restored to the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood just 1 day after they asked RTV6 for help. We reported that homes and businesses there had been without cable, internet, or phone service for 11 days. A deacon at a church impacted says that he and others called several times a day, every day, and tried to get this problem fixed. Well, that resolution finally came on Wednesday after RTV6 reached out to AT&T on behalf of all the frustrated customers. The company there releasing a statement to us saying in part, quote, "We apologize for the inconvenience and work to get customers back up and running as quickly as possible."
This morning, a young Vigo County girl is recovering after being electrocuted in her own home. Terre Haute fire officials say the 6-year-old girl touched a wet wall. We're told the wall had moisture on it because of a leaky roof. The girl suffered minor burns to her fingers, but firefighters say the electricity melted her pants. Thankfully, that young girl is expected to recover.
In Democracy 2019, this morning we are hearing from 3 newly elected members of the City County Council in Indianapolis who are making history. Allie Brown, Keith Potts, and Ethan Evans are all part of the LGBTQ community.
It's just wonderful. It's amazing. I'm honored. I really am honored that people put their faith in me, and they didn't let people pulling me apart because of my identity stop them from voting.
I'm very, very proud to be a member of the largest class of LGBTQ counselors. This is an historic moment for the city, as 4 members of the city council are LGBTQ, and it does demonstrate how Indianapolis is such a welcoming city.
Zach Adamson previously was the only LGBTQ member of the City County Council in Indianapolis. He also won Tuesday night his 2nd successful re-election bid.
New this morning and only on RTV6, a new effort to find missing and abducted children.
IMPD is set to become the first agency in the state to create this team that will focus on those critical minutes and hours to reconnect a child with their family. Our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us with a story you'll only see here on RTV6. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning. So this is called the Child Abduction Response Team. And what this program does is it creates a regional team of experts that are trained to respond when a child is reported missing or abducted in the area. Now, what CART does is it allows detectives, manpower, and equipment all to be brought to the front lines of an investigation. It enlists the help of FEMA Task Force search dogs, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and air support. As the first of its kind in our state, this team will bring together 25 agencies when a child is reported missing. Yesterday, Sergeant Paul Scott with IMPD received the Medal of Merit at the IMPD Medal of Honors Awards for the work he did to make this team a reality.
Our department is mandated within an hour's response. So if we get, or if that agency gets a notification and we can get there within an hour, we gather so much information in that 2 or 3 hour period that it can really be a successful outcome.
An IMPD will do their training in January, followed by a field exercise. After that, they'll be certified to respond to any endangered, missing, or abducted child investigations. And upon receiving that certification, IMPD will be one of just over 20 agencies in the country that are CART certified. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Coming up in Hiring Hoosiers, I'm Amanda Starantino, and I'm going to show you a program based right here in Indianapolis that is fueling the next generation of females in motorsports by empowering girls to know that they can be the ones revving up these engines.
And colder temperatures are starting to overtake not only central Indiana, but much of the country. We have teens in Minneapolis right now, and there's a lot of cold air in Canada. It all heads our way over the course of the next 5 to 10 days. We'll talk all about it in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:10. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Call Culligan Water and start saving today.
Welcome back. We are monitoring your commute here from our live drive vehicle. Our Shea Goodpastor is behind the wheel, and he is driving through that area on the west side, westbound I-70 here past Lyndhurst Drive, and you can see that right lane is blocked. That is due to that semi-crash cleanup. You can see traffic is still moving past. That is good news. Of course, this is a spot we'll continue to keep an eye on, but this is what you can expect.
Hiring Hoosiers is introducing you to tools to help you achieve your career goals.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the reason why our state is known as the racing capital of the world.
That's right. And for many young women, the thought of working on an Indy car may seem out of reach.
As our Amanda Starantino reports, Fuel the Female is showing young girls they can be the ones revving the engines.
It's a lifestyle, and it's something that you have to commit everything to.
As a performance engineer on an IndyCar team, Kate Gunlock is given quite the task, making a winning car. This challenge is what gets Kate going every day on the job.
And that was what really kind of got me interested in engineering, is how to take things apart, put them back together, and make them better.
Kate Gunlock is breaking barriers in this sport. In 2018, she and another woman became the first female engineers to take the series title. They helped Scott Dixon win his 5th IndyCar Series championship.
Exposure is really easy being a woman in the sport, but in terms of proving yourself and getting to where you want to be in your career, you are in the same spot as everybody else here.
Now with Arrow McLaren SP Racing, Kate is still a minority in her workplace, which does come with a different kind of challenge.
Being a woman in the industry is an advantage in the part that everyone knows who you are, because you're a minority. It's easy to be recognized, so you are in a bit more of a spotlight, so your mistakes are also seen by everyone too, so you really have to be really sharp, trying to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Is more visible. If you're making mistakes, it's going to be worse than if you don't.
Right now, there are only 8 women working in the competition side of the NTT IndyCar Series, and just to put that into perspective, there are about 10 people that work per car.
Like, the most successful companies, the most successful teams are diverse, whether that's diverse racially or diverse in terms of having both men and women.
As a former driver herself, now an IndyCar reporter, Katie Hargett is working to shift the gender makeup of the motorsports industry. She's the founder and executive director of Fuel the Female, a program encouraging girls to take an interest in STEM careers so they too can be the ones revving the engines on the track. Katie does this during the month of May by introducing Indy area high school girls to talented women in racing.
The best way to get to these girls was really to get them hands-on. Seeing these real-world examples of such successful women, I think really helped ignite that fire inside of them to chase that career in STEM.
Kate Gunlock is also involved in Fuel the Female, hoping to fuel the minds of girls interested in a career like hers.
Girls deciding on what they want to do are more than capable of anything they set their mind to. It's not easy. It's accessible. It's accessible. All you have to do is have a small interest in it, and the paths are there.
And for Kate, the checkered flag at the end is worth every minute of hard work.
It makes the long nights, the grueling overnight stuff, the travel all more palatable.
What's the best part about doing this?
Oh man, winning. Winning is really cool.
Kate and Katie encourage women interested in motorsports careers to reach out to anyone you admire in the industry. For more information on how to get involved with Fuel the Female, you can head to hiringhoosiers.com.
Get ready to crank up that furnace as those temperatures drop. Todd Clausen. You know, I think I like blue, except when you're standing there.
You kind of get used to the colors that are behind me.
Yeah.
Blue's good, purple's even worse.
I'm
you know,
not
the
sure.
oranges and the reds are a little bit better. But yeah, we're going to have the blue here throughout the day today, and purple probably tomorrow morning. So maybe I'll match with a purple tie or something. 37 in Lafayette, 38 in Martinsville, 38 in Greenfield, still 40s to the south. But if you've been here with us throughout the morning hours, you know our temperatures continue to fall. We were 40 last hour in Indianapolis, and we were 45 in Bloomington. So the colder air is starting to work its way in, and that's because a cold front is making its way through the area. So yes, it's going to get cooler, but the good news is that front's coming through pretty quick. So instead of this steady rain progressing to the north, it's basically going to stay where it's at. So you're still dealing with some showers in Bedford and Seymour and North Vernon, but from that point to the north, you really don't have to worry about much in the way of any precipitation for the day today. Maybe a sprinkle and or a flurry, and that should be just about it, because all this rain that's down to our south is essentially going to move off towards the east. It's not going to make any advancement up to the north. So that is the good news. And TrueCast shows you really by about 9:30, there's still some lingering rain from Seymour to Greensburg over into the Brookville area. But then basically it's off towards the east. And look how the skies start to clear as we work our way into the afternoon hours. So it's definitely a cloudy start for us all. Some of us are seeing some showers here this morning, but everybody gets into the sunshine as we get into the afternoon hours. Now, as far as the temperatures, again, we're not really going to warm much throughout the day today. With a north wind, these temperatures that you see here are going to feel even cooler. So 40 is going to feel probably more about 32 to 33 degrees across the area this afternoon. And then overnight tonight, once the sun sets, temperatures really drop off very, very quickly. We're looking at temperatures probably in the 20s with clear skies by 9 p.m. and then it'll just continue to get colder overnight. 22 tomorrow morning in the city. Teens, though, in the outlying areas. 17 in Lafayette, about 19 degrees as you wake up to start your Friday in Bloomington. And then throughout the day tomorrow, we'll have some sunshine, partly cloudy skies, but it's chilly, only 37 degrees. Fast forward to Saturday morning. If you are running the Monumental Marathon through downtown Indianapolis, and then up towards the Broad Ripple area and back into downtown, it's very cold. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s. Skies will be clear, but the wind is going to pick up as the race goes on. So that's something you'll have to contend with. That'll put wind chills probably a little bit cooler than those temperatures in the mid-20s. The rest of Saturday, mostly sunny, 46 degrees, but breezy. Sunday, we're up to 54 degrees with clouds that will increase across the area. And then as we look ahead to Monday, another cold front comes through, with it some snow showers. But look at the temperatures as we get to Tuesday and to Wednesday. Tuesday, we may not even make it above freezing with a morning low of 17 degrees. So the first cold front is today. Tomorrow's a chilly day. A reinforcing shot of cold air comes in on Monday, puts temperatures way below normal throughout much of next week.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at that semi issue we're monitoring on the west side. This semi here you see on your screen in the ditch jackknifed and went off the road, off the westbound lanes of I-70 between Lyndhurst Drive and I-465. So they are blocking the right lanes right now for this cleanup. Traffic is shifting shifting over into the left lanes. Still moving though, so that is good news. No reports of any injuries. Let's take a turn right now in the opposite direction. Our Shea Goodpaster is in our live drive vehicle traveling eastbound right now on I-70, heading past Holt Road, heading in towards the downtown area. If you're heading in from the west side here using I-70, you can see the interstate is open and clear. No issues here to slow you down.
Jerry Sandusky is scheduled to be resentenced later today. The former Penn State assistant football coach was convicted of sexual abuse in 2012. Officials convicted Sandusky of assaulting 10 boys over a period of at least 15 years. He was sentenced to a minimum of 30 years behind bars. Sandusky requested a retrial, but it was denied by the Pennsylvania Superior Court. However, the court determined it was illegal to impose mandatory minimum sentences during the sentencing and ordered Sandusky to be resentenced.
At 6:21, the former Attorney General Jeff Sessions, he's seeking to make a comeback. Sessions plans to run for his former Senate seat in Alabama. His announcement could come today. Sessions stepped down as a senator to become the president's Attorney General. And 1 year ago today, President Trump asked Sessions to resign. Sessions had repeatedly clashed with the president over his decision to recuse himself from the investigation into how Russians meddled in the 2016 election.
A Kent State basketball player is beating the odds and making history this morning. His incredible story coming up at 6:24.
The Ultra Strong costs less than Glad Force Flex. Were sold head-to-head.
All right, we all know college basketball has begun, and so we're going to see a lot of good plays here over the next few months. And this one here kicks off what is trending at 6. Kalen Bennett didn't walk until he was 4, and he didn't talk until he was 7. However, last fall, he became the first person with autism to sign with a Division I sports program. Last night, he became the first to suit up and score a college basket. Wow. Kalen says basketball has given him the skills of life, and he wants to help other people do the same. Way to go.
Well, a young deer in Maine getting an unexpected boat ride, you could say. A lobstering crew says they spotted the deer struggling to swim 5 miles there off the coast. That's when the lobster men sprang into action. They pulled it aboard the boat and headed back towards land. The men say that they dropped the deer off and headed back out to sea. Experts say deer are typically good swimmers, but a couple miles off the coast, that could be a little difficult for anybody, right?
Wow. Now, sometimes a little thing has a large impact. So, ladies, listen up. This morning, a California woman is reunited with her wedding ring. Patty Shale's house was destroyed by that Getty wildfire last week. The only thing from her home to survive was the ring, which was found totally by chance by members of the LA Fire Department. Patty believes the ring is a sign, a good sign, that everything is going to be okay. I have to imagine that, you know, as someone who's married, if I lost my ring, I would be just distraught. So I'm glad that she was able to find her ring. Because
and that's especially important. It's a piece of her mother.
Yeah, it's priceless.
Yeah.
So,
very cool.
I think Mrs. Sanchez is going to say, oh.
Yeah, I'm watching at home right now.
We're going to say,
and we're going to say, oh. Yeah, it's a Mr. Clausen.
You walk out the door here this morning. The good news is the steady rain has stayed to our south here throughout the morning hours. So it's still kind of a damp feel out there from the rain earlier. But as far as rain falling right now, you notice from Bedford to Seymour and a few showers near Bloomington. But the rain's not going to advance any further to the north. So that's the good news. Maybe a sprinkle or flurry at best from Indianapolis northward. The problem today is the temperatures. We've already hit our high for the day today. So as you get going here on this Thursday morning, you're going to be in the 30s with mainly cloudy skies here throughout the morning hours. We get some sunshine in here as we get into the afternoon.
All right, Todd, thanks. We all work hard to pay our bills on time so we get a good credit score.
That's right. Well, this morning, John Matarese tells us about another secret consumer score that could impact a number of different things, so you don't waste your money.
We're all familiar with credit scores that tell a bank if you're worthy of getting a cell phone plan or a loan for a new car. But there's also a secret consumer score that you may want to know about. A new investigation by the New York Times finds that marketing companies are assigning consumer scores to people based on how good a customer you are, what part of town you live in, and how much money you spend shopping. A high score may get you to the front of a line at a call center, or it may convince a store manager to allow you to return an item when less stellar shoppers would not be allowed to return it. Your consumer score is based, among other things, on how many items you return to stores, if you are a loyal customer, and if you provide Yelp or Amazon reviews, and how positive those reviews are. Post a lot of negative reviews, your consumer score will be lower. So next time you're put on hold forever, it might have to do with your secret consumer score. So always don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
Very interesting. And for more money-saving tips like this and ideas, you can visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
A 14-year-old from Pennsylvania has come up with an idea potentially helping you on the road. The teen came up with a way to eliminate a car's blind spots. Yeah. Elania Gaisler says she was motivated after finding out her mom didn't like driving the family's SUV. Gaisler's prototype uses a webcam, projector, 3D printed adapter, and retro-reflective fabric to make a car's A-pillars essentially invisible. She hopes to patent the design and submit the idea to automakers. That is, smart cookie there.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, this is your news feed on this Thursday morning. A man is dead following a nearly 4-hour standoff with deputies in Henry County. Deputies were called to a home near Spiceland last night. There was an exchange of gunfire with 77-year-old Leslie O'Deer. He was later found dead inside that home. A state police investigation is underway this morning.
A Brown Township trustee out in Hendricks County is being charged with driving while intoxicated. Investigators say Nathan Mantlow admitted to smoking marijuana and was intoxicated before he caused a crash involving 2 other vehicles here in Indianapolis. Documents show he failed to serve several field sobriety tests after the crash, but he did not have any alcohol in his system.
Demonstrators gathered outside a CVS in West Lafayette that refused to sell cold medicine to a Purdue student. Jose Guzman Payano says the store clerk would not accept his Puerto Rican driver's license as valid ID. Payano says the clerk demanded a U.S.-issued ID, even though Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Students are now calling on Purdue to address the issue.
And a heads up if you're planning to travel to Louisville, the right 3 lanes of I-65 on the Kennedy Bridge connecting Louisville to southern Indiana will be shut down beginning at midnight tomorrow. This is so crews can work on expansion joint repairs in order to give drivers a smoother ride. The lanes will remain closed until November the 27th.
And it is 6:30 here. We want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana on this November 7th.
It is a cool, can I say cool or chilly? I'm not sure. It's cold. Either one. What do you say?
It's both. It's a combination of both, and you're going to need all the layers today, Todd.
Yeah, it's chilly today. Tomorrow, Raphael, you could use cold because we're going to be probably in the teens in some locations tomorrow morning. So the transition happens today. A cold front's coming through currently here in central Indiana. You notice Storm Team 6 radar is fairly quiet. We have to zoom here into southern locations to find some showers from Seymour to North Vernon, back towards Bedford and into the Shoals area. And that's exactly where the rain is going to stay. It's not really going to progress much more to the north as we go throughout the morning hours, but you could see a spot shower or 2 in Indianapolis up towards Lafayette, maybe a flurry, but nothing really of consequence because the cold front that is now in northern Indiana will push all this to the south and to the east. So essentially for most of us, it's just a cloudy morning. We've already hit our high temperature for the day today. We'll go down a few more degrees here through the morning hours. And then as we get into the afternoon hours, the clouds will start to break. That's the good news. It gets brighter later on today, but it's not going to warm. Your noontime temperature still only 39 degrees.
Todd, thank you. We want to show you what you can expect as you head out on the roads on this Thursday. So our live drive vehicle is out there. Shay Goodpaster behind the wheel, and this is a dash cam view at what you can expect on the city's east side. He's traveling eastbound on I-70 near Shadeland Avenue, where you can see everything is moving along up to speed. Don't forget, we do have that overturned semi issue that went off the road on the west side of town. We'll detail that coming up. Well, your child might have an unscheduled day off school later this month, and that's because so many teachers are going to be out of the classroom.
That's right. Thousands of teachers and their supporters, they plan to go Red for Ed at the State House on November the 19th. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning. And Kelsey, why did they choose that specific day to go Red for Ed?
Well, Raphael, they're going red for Ed on November 19th here at the State House because that's the day that lawmakers will be back here for the start of the legislative session. Now, teachers tell us this rally is not to cause problems, but it's to bring notice back to teachers' problems and to solve the teacher shortage. They're asking lawmakers for the following. They want them to raise the average pay to $60,000, not to punish schools based on testing scores, and they want lawmakers to get rid of the 15-hour externship requirement for license renewal that was put in place last year. So many teachers will be attending the rally that some school districts are already canceling classes. IPS announced yesterday that they will have no class on November 19th, and they will have a makeup day in April.
We are not interested in wreaking havoc on this state by any means, but we are interested in making sure that our legislators and our communities know how important our schools are and our kids are, and so that's what we're trying to do. So there would be further action if these things are not dealt with.
In the last legislative session, a 2.5% base funding raise for the next 2 years was approved. ISTA says they will continue to push for more. Again, there are a lot of teachers already that are planning to be here on November 19th, some of them having to take PTO days, so schools are already canceling class. That way those teachers don't have to use their earned time to be here on November 19th. Again, IPS announced yesterday they will not have classes on November 19th, and they have a makeup day in April. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. And we want to break down why teachers here say they're not happy. This spring, state lawmakers touted what Republican leaders claimed was a major increase in school funding in the state budget that now covers the next 2 years. So it increased the base school funding by 2.5% each year. But teachers say it would have taken an increase of 9% for teacher pay in Indiana to reach the same level as states that surround us. They also complain that private and charter schools got a bigger increase in funding than public schools. This year, a summer study committee looked at ways to boost teacher pay, but that committee will not make any recommendations until just before the next state budget is written. That is in the year 2021. Teachers say that's too long to wait for a pay increase.
When a child goes missing, every minute counts. Having experts available in those early hours of an investigation can help save lives. And now a new program from IMPD is going to revolutionize response when a child is reported missing. This team is the first of its kind in our state. And our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning to tell us more about how this program will work. Alyssa.
It's very interesting. This is called the Child Abduction Response Team. And what this program does is it creates a regional team of experts that will respond when a child is reported missing or abducted. And CART allows additional detectives, manpower, and equipment to be brought to the front lines of an investigation. It enlists the help of FEMA Task Force search dogs, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and air support. The team will bring together 25 agencies in our state when a child is reported missing. IMPD Sergeant Paul Scott received the Medal of Merit Award yesterday for the work he's done to create a CART team here in Indiana. He says creating a CART team allows them to pool resources and respond to assist with the first hours of an investigation, which are critical when a child goes missing.
Our department is mandated within an hour's response. So if we get, or if that agency gets a notification and we can get there within an hour, we gather so much information in that 2 or 3 hour period that it can really be a successful outcome.
Training for IMPD is scheduled for January. They will also have to do a field exercise. After that, IMPD will be one of just over 20 agencies in the country to be CART certified. And Sergeant Scott says this is sort of like his legacy with IMPD. He also says he hopes eventually this concept goes statewide. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. They set out to simply represent the people where they live, and they ended up now making history. Up next on Good Morning Indiana, an important milestone for local government right here in the capital city.
Honoring the top officers. Coming up, a special ceremony where Metro Police paid tribute to those who went above and beyond the call of duty. Time now is 6:37. We'll be right back.
History was made in this week's municipal election. It's because of 3 newly elected members of the City County Council in Indianapolis.
Allie Brown, Keith Potts, and Ethan Evans are all part of the LGBTQ community.
It's just wonderful. It's amazing. I'm honored. I really am honored that people put their faith in me, and they didn't let people pulling me apart because of my identity stop them from voting.
I'm very, very proud to be a member of the largest class of LGBTQ counselors.
This is an historic moment for the city, as 4 members of the city council are LGBTQ, and it does demonstrate how Indianapolis is such a welcoming city.
Before this week, Zach Adamson was the only LGBTQ member of the City County Council. He also won his race for re-election to his District 17 seat this week.
As we continue our coverage of Democracy 2019, a race just to the south of Indianapolis is still undecided. Republican Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin is asking for a recanvass of all of those votes. His campaign says the election is still too close to call. His opponent, Democrat Andy Beshear, claimed victory last night. With 99% of the precincts reporting, he is less than 5,000 votes ahead of Bevin. The Beshear campaign does not believe the recanvass will change that outcome. President Trump campaigned for Bevin just 1 day before the election.
Vice President Mike Pence plans to make the White House's run for a second term official later today. He will formally file the ticket for President Trump and himself to be on the ballot in New Hampshire next year. Several Democratic presidential contenders have already filed for the first in the nation primary.
A family pleads for the return of their dog. They're upset with a common practice from one animal shelter. What you need to know to keep this problem from happening to you.
And if you just can't wait for Christmas to get here, we have the perfect giveaway just for you. Coming up in just a few minutes, your chance to win tickets to the Christmas gift and hobby show. But first, let's check in with Todd Clausen, a man of many gifts. Hey, Todd.
You may not want my gifts here in the coming days, as a cold front is making its way through central Indiana. And you know what's behind the cold front? Colder air. How cold? Well, we're talking about teens in Des Moines, 16 in Minneapolis. That's probably where we are tomorrow morning. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:42. Stay with us. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Online or visit in store this weekend.
Welcome back. It is 6:44, and here's that jackknife semi into the ditch. You see it there in the center of your screen. This is westbound I-70 on the west side. We're talking between Lyndhurst Drive and I-465. The right lanes are blocked. Left lanes are open, but as traffic is getting heavier, things are slowing down. You can expect some stop-and-go traffic for about 5 minutes as you head past this area.
A Johnson County family is making a desperate plea after they say someone left the county shelter with their dog. April Isham's dog, Hadley, has been missing from Whiteland since Saturday. She says someone picked up the 9-year-old Victorian Bulldog somewhere along Whiteland Road and took the dog to the animal shelter. But the shelter says the dog was not left there. The people who took Hadley were given the family's contact information, but the dog has still not been returned.
We just want our dog back. I'm sorry. But we have 5 kiddos, and they're all attached to her. I'm attached to her. I've not been able to sleep at night. And the kids, every time they see me when they get done with school, is Hadley home yet? And she's not.
The Johnson County attorney says the shelter does not require finders to leave animals at the shelter when they take responsibility for contacting the owner. They also do not force finders to leave their personal information. The attorney says there has not been any issues with this policy before, and the shelter staff had no reason to believe Hadley would not be returned home.
Metro Police took the time to honor the men and women who serve and protect the city of Indianapolis and protect you. The department hosted its annual year-end honors program at the downtown library. Officer Eric Rosenbaum was among the dozens of officers recognized. He received a Purple Heart and a Medal of Valor after being shot and attacked while on duty this past May.
That brought everything home, not only for me, but my brothers that helped keep me alive. I was shot and injuries and stuff like that, and they helped keep me alive. And being a part of something bigger is really what I strive for. It's not just, I got the badge and the gun.
Officer Rosenbaum is recovering from his injuries. He plans to return to work when that happens, of course, when he recovers from those injuries. RTV6, a proud media sponsor of that event, and I was honored to MC the event for the 3rd year. I also put out on Twitter that I want him to live in my neighborhood, because when you hear his story, it is simply amazing. A cool dude. All those officers, congratulations.
Yes, and thank you for your service. But here at 6:47, we want to toss things over to Todd. Todd, this is a PSA to everyone at home. If you have not gone to the attic or the back of the closet and dug out those winter items, today might be the day.
Yeah, you know, today's the day to probably do that. I mean, it's been chilly here, but tomorrow morning, this time tomorrow, it is going to be really, really cold across the area. I'll get to that in just a second. But temperatures right now are in the process of cooling down. 45 still in Bedford, but notice as you work your way north, the temperatures do get cooler. 38 in Indianapolis, 36 in Peru. We've already hit our high temperatures for the day today. So it's another chilly morning as you head out to walk the dog. Your dog walking forecast featuring Alert here this morning. Great Dane there. Just looks like he's soaking up the sunshine in a previous day here. Alert will be a little on the chilly side, and thanks to Brenda for sending him in. We'll give you green paws here throughout the day today. It's chilly, but there's not a whole lot in the way of precipitation going on. Notice the temperatures, though, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. going to be in the 30s. There's going to be a north wind, so those temperatures are actually going to feel even a little bit cooler. As far as the rain goes, there have been some showers overnight. Most of that has come to an end with the exception of our southern counties here. Bedford over to Seymour as you work your way into portions of Jackson County, and then over into North Vernon. We're dealing with some light showers, and a few of these showers now sneaking into the Lake Monroe area, into Brown County, as well as Columbus, but they really shouldn't make much advancement to the north here for the remainder of the day. Yes, there could be a sprinkle or a flurry in and around Indianapolis as the front comes through, but nothing of consequence because that cold front's going to actually push all this rain, and there's a lot of it even further to the south and off towards the east. And you can see that on TrueCast. We'll maintain the shower chances in southern locations here through about 10 a.m., but everybody else, again, it's just a flurry, and then we clear the skies out as we head into the afternoon hours, so it does get brighter as the day goes on. It's just not going to get warmer. That is the issue. Now tonight the winds will calm down, the skies will be clear, and we have a new air mass in place, and that is ingredients for the temperatures to cool off very, very quickly. We're down to near freezing by 7 p.m. We're down to 26 degrees by the time we get to 11 p.m. And then as we wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to range from 17 in the outlying areas to about 22 degrees in the city. So it is very, very cold tomorrow morning. And as we work our way throughout the remainder of the day tomorrow, it's a brighter day for us, but temperatures really struggle to warm tomorrow as well, only into the mid-30s. For the weekend, though, we do turn the winds a little more southerly, and that's going to warm the temperatures a little bit. 46 on Saturday. Starts off in the mid-20s, though, if you're running the Monumental Marathon. Sunday, Colts are home. Not a bad day. Partly sunny skies, 55 degrees. But Sunday night into Monday, the next cold front comes through, and that cold front's even stronger than the one we're dealing with today, because look what it puts temperatures. Everybody's in the teens for Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and high temperatures Tuesday afternoon, Lauren, may not even get to the freezing mark.
Yikes. All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do have one traffic issue to remind you about as you're heading out on the roads at this hour. It's over here on the west side, the westbound lanes of I-70 between Lyndhurst Drive and I-465. You can see it there, the jackknife semi. Right lanes are closed. Traffic squeezing over into the left lane, and things are slowing down. We have a delay back to about Holt Road, so about a 5-minute delay for you this morning. Plan ahead. Give yourself that extra time.
A busy night of basketball across the state. First, the season opener for Purdue. They opened the year ranked number 23 in the nation. Jahad Proctor just transferred to Purdue, and it looks like he could be a star in the making. He led the team with 26 points as the Boilermakers knocked off Green Bay 79-57 at Mackey Arena.
Are you going to say Boiler Up?
Boiler Up.
There's a proud Purdue grad. The Butler Bulldogs playing host to IUPUI. Sean McDermott was the big man for Butler. He had a game-high 26 points at Hinkle Fieldhouse. The Bulldogs beat the Jaguars 80-47.
And at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Pacers getting back to their winning ways despite missing several players due to injury. Doug McDermott had 19 points off the bench. The Pacers had 7 players in the double figures as they beat the Washington Wizards 121-106.
A Throwback Thursday is next right here on Good Morning Indiana, when we come full circle with the man who led the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for decades until this week. It's a close look at him just before he took over the world's most famous oval.
And if you're in the holiday spirit already, this is the giveaway for you. Right now is your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Christmas Gift and Hobby Show. The big event runs through the 10th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. All you need to do is be the 6th caller right now. Here's the phone number, 317-269-1459. And if you don't win today, we are giving away more tickets tomorrow as well. Good luck. We'll be right back.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 6:55 on your Thursday. And if you're heading over on the west side, you may run into this. A semi jackknifed into a ditch here, blocking the right lanes of westbound I-70 as you head past Lyndhurst Drive. Left lanes are open but moving slow. Give yourself an extra 5 to 10 minutes if you travel through that area. This week on our Throwback Thursday, we took a special trip down to the RTV6 vault, and it's something we think is poignant, especially this week.
Yeah. It was just a few days ago that we were all stunned with the news that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was being sold by Holman & Company to the corporation owned by racing legend Roger Penske.
And so then 35 years ago, RTV6 ran a profile of the grandson of Tony Holman and the man who would be at the center of that sale this week. Our reporter Greg Todd spoke to Tony George during the month of May in 1983. He was only 23 years old at the time, still in college at Indiana State University, and he was being groomed as the future president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tony talked to us about upholding his grandfather's legacy, and he also talked about how tough it was growing up in the shadow of that big legacy, especially as a kid in school.
You know, they just would make childish remarks, and I took them in childish ways, I guess. I'd say I had a few uncomfortable years, but then I realized in the last 3-4 years that I am in a position of influencing a lot of people, and I need to try and represent the family as best I can.
An emotional week for him and a legacy for his family. Now, of course, we've come full circle with Tony having to say goodbye to the thousands of his longtime employees and friends and families across the world as that sale happened this week to Roger Penske. So I think they'll be part of the event as well, because they're still the Holman George family. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that.